Earlier this week, I talked about love. And I mentioned the fact that I think love is the root of some of our pain that we need to heal from, right? And I mentioned the fact, like, okay, what if you got a divorce because your partner cheated on you? The reason it hurts is because you loved them, right? And so I kind of want to talk about what that really means. Like, okay, love is the issue, but like, where do I go from there? So I think the first step is maybe understanding that you do still love that person, because I know there's people that are going to be out here like, I don't love my mom, I don't love my ex, or I don't love whatever it may be, my older brother or sister. But the thing is, I think a lot of us could say we care about strangers even. We love humanity, or we love humans in general. We want everybody to do good. The good ones of us. Some of us hate people. And I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of people in general, but I could say I love someone that I don't know because I want them to do well. And so when you think about the English language, we only really have one word for love. There's not a brotherly love. There's not a romantic love. There's not a friendship love. There's not a, I don't really care about you anymore in the sense like that, but like I also care that hopefully you have a good life. Like, that's still love, right? In other languages, they have whole other words for these ideas. But in English, we have to add something to it. Like, oh, brotherly love, specifically. Oh, romantic love, specifically, right? Friendship love, platonic. We have to specify. And so I think it gets in our head a little bit like, but I don't love that person anymore. Well, if you don't want them to die a horrible death and you hope that they get better, that is love, at least if you ask me. Obviously, it's not, I want to be with you love. It's not romantic love. It's not best friend love. It's not really any of those kinds of love. But the genuine care for someone to do well is still a form of love. So we're going to start there. Take away all the weight that you normally put on that word. And we're just talking about generally not wanting bad things to happen to someone. Okay. And that's the kind of love we're talking about. Because some people, you might actually still love them, like our parents or something. And then some people you might be like, I don't want to anything to do with them, but I don't want anything bad to happen to them. So I feel like I'm kind of stupid, but whatever. Let's move forward. So we're specifically going to talk about relationship healing today, but I'm sure you can apply these things to other situations, whether it's your sibling, family member, parent, ex, friend, ex-friend, or actual friend. I mean, it's up to you. I'm sure you can apply it everywhere. So I'm going to use the word love, but we need to understand we're doing a very lightweight on love. Like, I love a stranger. I love this person, right? That's only the second level. That's where we're at. So let's say you were previously in a relationship. And so we're going to put down the word love because that's what the relationship was, right? Now let's say during the course of this relationship, you have to sacrifice your time with your partner for them to go out and drink, right? So let's say they're drinking. Now, I understand once in a while, that's fine. Once in a while, if you let your partner go out because you love them, you are allowing them their own free time, right? Now, if this becomes a problem and you love them, so you put up with it. So let's say going out with the boys once a month, okay? But this is going out with the boys every weekend. Well, you're going to start to feel like, okay, well, do you even love me? When are we spending time together? I'm okay with making this sacrifice for you to have some free time because I love you, but now you're taking advantage of me. But if you've been in a relationship for years, if you're married or if you have kids, you put up with this. A lot of us put up with it because we love that person. So now let's say you're in a new relationship. That relationship ended. So this is just one example, okay? Now you're in a new relationship and your partner wants to have a drink with the boys. Let's say you've been together 6 months. They've never done it once. But you feel the need to freak out. You're stressing because you think that drinking with your friends and not spending time with me is part of love. After spending so many years putting up with too much free time, you start to associate that with the word love. But not spending time with you or taking advantage of your free time is not love. That's not what that is. That is selfishness that the other person has, and they're using your love against you so that they can have their selfish needs, right? So then you associate that with love. So then when your new partner does it, even if it's the first time in 6 months that they want to go out, you're freaking out because your last relationship did it. It did it too much. You put up with it because of love, and then everything ended in disaster. That's why you have a new relationship in the first place. But if your partner loves you, they're not going to take advantage of you. That is not in your definition of love. Drinking with your friends every weekend is not in your definition of love. Giving your partner free time and space, that is part of love. What's another example? If you get into a relationship with someone and you're with them for a very long time and they drink too much, I don't know why I keep going back to drinking, but that's just where we are right now. Let's say they drink too much and you fight a lot, right? Let's say he raises his voice at you and after years and years of arguing, he starts to put his hands on you. Well, after enduring years of putting up with verbal abuse, putting up with physical abuse sometimes, if it's a progression, sometimes it's easy for us, right? Sometimes it doesn't even feel like pain, more pain, It's just the same pain, just physical now. Because emotional pain is scientifically proven to be just as bad as physical pain. It makes the same parts of your brain go off as physical pain. So really, to someone who's been abused for years verbally, pain is just pain. It's not more, it's not less, it's just pain. So it can be easy for some people to let it slide. Now, let's say after a year or so of being physically abused, you finally realize, okay, I am not putting up with this. This is not right. This is not love. And you go to your next relationship and you're healing, but you have PTSD. It's hard to move on, especially when you've spent years with someone, especially when you loved them. So you put up with so much of what they were doing because you loved them even though they didn't love you. Now let's say you're in a new relationship and things are going great. Everything's comfortable, everything's good and positive, but you still have PTSD. Now let's say after a year, something happens and this person raises their voice a little bit. You might freak the fuck out. Why? Because you believe that somebody who loves you is okay with yelling at you. That someone who loves you will verbally abuse you. That somebody who loves you will physically abuse you. But that's not love. You've just attached those things to the word love because you endured those things for love. But the person doing those things, they didn't love you. It sucks and it hurts, but they didn't love you. People who love you are not going to hurt you like that. And I'm not saying that you're not capable of hurting your partner or your children or whoever. I'm not saying that if you've ever hurt anybody, you don't love that person. But those actions don't happen with love. Does that make sense? Like, if someone does love you and they're doing those things, when they're doing those things, they're not doing them with love. They're doing them with anger, hatred, or some sort of problem they have within. So, we need to identify what things, what actions trigger us, and why they trigger us, so that we can detach that arguments and physical abuse and drinking too much and going out with friends, not spending time with me. We need to detach those things from our definition of love because those things were forced into our definition. Those are things we put up with that we didn't want to put up with. Those are not love. They were forced in. But we can let them go. And if you can learn how to let them go, then you can find more peace with your new partner. You're not trying to put a square peg in a round hole anymore. It just goes in. But that seems scary. That seems really scary when you've been through so much. It's almost like, what's wrong? There's no resistance. There's no friction. So what's actually going on? It's tough, but it's just one step. Detaching false definitions. Let's say, I'm going to use my mom, for example. And hopefully this is okay. But my dad cheated on my mom a lot. A lot of it, most of it, all of it was behind her back. So she didn't really know about it until later. But when my mom was with my dad, she was overweight. And so in my developing brain, when my parents got a divorce and I found out how much of a cheater and POS my dad had been, I associated that with weight. And so now, I'm chunky right now. Now, when I am chunky, like right now, I tend to worry that I'm not going to be loved anymore. That means my husband is going to cheat on me. But that's not true. That is a false definition that I have attached to my weight. And it's co-attached with love, right? Just like abuse is attached to love incorrectly, but it's also attached to pain. That's why when something happens that makes us think about it, PTSD, we freak out because we're like, this hurts, but it's love. So, I mean, hopefully all this makes sense. I guess we'll see when I watch the video back, but that is something I was thinking about today, because I said, like, love is the root of it all, but we didn't really discuss how to take hold of that. How do you take hold of that? So, for example, I mentioned in this same video, I'll link it at the end or something on my end screen, but I mentioned in this video how I was struggling with a relationship with my mom, and how I had been looking at her through the eyes of a hurt child. And so I had attached, what did I attach? I guess I never felt important to my mom. So we're going to use the word neglect. But I'm not saying my mom, like, didn't feed me, or it's not that kind of neglect. We're going to literally just say I felt like I wasn't important, so we're going to use the word neglect. So I attached the word neglect to love. And in my current relationship, if I don't see my husband for 5 days because he's working nights, even though there's a good reason there, he's working nights. That's the only reason I haven't seen him. We're on opposite schedules. So if I don't see my husband for 4 nights in a row because he's on a night shift and I work a day shift, my PTSD tries to attack me, which I'm getting better at that. But that's because I've attached neglect to love. But it's also attached to pain. So I worry that I'm being neglected, even though I'm not. So then I feel pain and I freak out on him for not loving me. Hopefully these scenarios I've given help you get an idea of what I mean, and hopefully they help you maybe see some of the ways that you can work through or identify some of your traumas or some of your forced definitions. And if you do, and if you're still here, I'd love a comment. I'm very slow moving right now. I don't really know what I'm doing. Just trying to grow, trying to heal my traumas. And by doing so, I want to share it, even if it's personal and not many people want to put stuff like this out there. We are all going through something. And so I'm okay with putting myself on the line if it means maybe you can heal yourself. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.